I'd like to go ahead and call the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners meeting on March 5th to order. I'd like to welcome everybody here, everybody in the audience. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, and I know that our social media team and our emergency management team has been putting out information about the weather today. Just want to encourage people to be safe. We're going to have high winds today. Just want to, again, encourage people that are safe to be safe and to check for regular updates on your news or on social media. With that, we'll go ahead and I will ask Commissioner Faircloth to bring the invocation, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's stand, please, and honor God and country. Fathers, once again, our pleasure and our great opportunity to meet here and represent the people of our great county. We ask your blessings on these proceedings. We ask that these things be acceptable in your sight and in the sight of those who have elected us to do their business. And these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will go ahead and move to the recognition portion. I would like to ask Dr. Green to come to the podium. So thank you for being here this morning, Dr. Green. We want to recognize Dr. Green for receiving the American Medical Association Award for Outstanding Government Service. This is Public Health Director Dr. Jennifer Green. Sorry, it was a late night last night coming back from D.C., so my tongue's a little tied this morning. Dr. Jennifer Green was presented with the American Medical Association AMA Outstanding Government Service Award for Career Public Service at the local level on February 11th, 2025, during the AMA's Advocacy Conference in Washington, D.C. These awards are considered one of the most prestigious awards honoring elected officials and career government employees and aim to recognize accomplishments to advance public health. Well, Dr. Green, they did something that we all know here in Cumberland County. The work that you do from the day you hit the ground a few days before COVID hit, I remember it well. But so just wanted to honor you today and recognize your accomplishments, your many accomplishments, but specifically this one. So thank you so much for what you do, and we'll let you have any words if you want to have words.
Well, thank you to the commissioners. I really appreciate it. We had the opportunity to go to D.C. a few weeks ago to be recognized, and Commissioner Adams and Assistant County Manager Heather Skeens are able to join me in receiving the award. We don't have it here today. They are shipping it. It is quite a large in size award, and so it was just an honor to be able to represent Cumberland County and really stand amongst other honorees and those that were being recognized for their work. It was a great opportunity to network and learn about what other counties and what other states were doing, and to meet some of others in the room that are doing great work across the county. So I want to, and many thanks to our team back at the health department who really are doing excellent work every day to make sure that we're serving the citizens. So I appreciate the recognition and the opportunity to serve as the county's health director.
Well, thank you, and I asked Vice Chairwoman Jones to come down and congratulate you, and then, of course, you have to make your way around the dais, and I'll recognize Commissioner Adams to make a comment.
I just want to congratulate you on everything that, as we already know that you're a superstar here in Cumberland County, and now everyone else knows that as well. And this is the perfect time to congratulate you. We know women leaders are doing great things. This is Women's Month, and you are one of those great women leaders. Thank you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairwoman. And before you leave, Dr. Green, Commissioner Adams has a comment, and I'll open up any other commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that we went to D.C. and Assistant Manager Skeens and I were there with Dr. Green, and I don't want her to downplay this, because as we were in the room and the board of directors of the AMA came over and spoke to us, they talked about when they read her nomination that they said this is the one. It was a unanimous decision on their part. Everybody everybody else that got an award was a medical doctor. And so here we are with Dr. Green, and even as she made her speech, I think the room erupted with a standing ovation because of what she did, what she said. And so, I just want to say congratulations to you. It was truly an emotional night. I think we saw that, and so I just didn't want this moment just to go by to say you just got that award, because it was truly a national award throughout the whole nation as they went and decided who should get this award. And when they told us it was unanimous, and I think each one of them came over and told us that, it was truly amazing, and you do great work, so congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Adams. We've got one more, Dr. Green, don't go
Okay,
anywhere.
thank you.
Commissioner Tyson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to also congratulate you on your award, and I also would like to just take a moment to thank you. I had the opportunity last month to come and tour your facility, meet some of your staff, and see some of the work that you're doing there. So thank you for showing up for the residents of this county every day, and for your staff that shows up and works hard to take care of our health needs in this county. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming over. And for the public, we want to remind people that, your public health department is here to serve you. One of the things I said in our speech was, oftentimes in public health, we're happy to be in the background because working on the side of prevention, but we're also here when emergencies happen like COVID and other, public health emergencies. So it's really a great honor to be recognized for our work in public health, because oftentimes we don't get an opportunity to tell our story. So I look at this as an opportunity to tell our story for public health and to really get to advocate for public health. So thank you all. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Green, for what you do every day, and we appreciate you. Thank
Mr. Chairman, I think Assistant Manager Skeens, go ahead, you can, I can't read lips way over there.
If everybody had seen the brochure from the award day.
We can put it down for people to see it. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Green. I appreciate you being here this morning. Appreciate everything that you do. It's definitely, you shined a light on Cumberland County with your work, and we're grateful for what you do every day.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and move forward to the approval of the agenda. County Manager, any changes for the agenda?
Yes, well, we will need a closed session to discuss attorney-client privilege matter. Paragraph 3A, I think, if I remember correctly, 318.
A3.
A3.
Okay. Commissioners, any changes to the agenda? Hearing no other changes, I'll ask for a motion. Vice Chair Jones?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion on the floor to approve the agenda with the amendment to add the closed session. Any discussion on the motion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Commissioner Council?
I think she said yes.
Do you have her on the line?
She's supposed to be on.
Okay.
Commissioner Council, are you there? She's not.
Okay. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and move forward to the consent agenda. Any commissioners, any changes to the consent agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion. Vice Chairwoman Jones?
Motion to approve.
We've got a motion that's been properly seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. Raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
All right, we'll go ahead and move forward to the first item of business. Approval of proclamation recognizing Women History Month in Cumberland County. County Manager Greer.
Yeah, I would turn this over to Andrea Tebby, clerk to the board, to discuss the proclamation.
A request was received for a proclamation honoring Women's History Month in Cumberland County. It's there for your approval.
Is there any discussion on the proclamation? And we'll have the Vice Chairwoman to read it once it's approved. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proclamation. Vice Chairwoman Jones?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? There's a motion to approve the proclamation recognizing Women's History Month in Cumberland County. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
At this time, I recognize the Vice Chairwoman to read the proclamation.
And it reads as stands, whereas countless American women have served our country courageously in the military, and whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights, salvage, and equal opportunity, but also in the abolition movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, the peace movement, which created a more fair and just society for all. Whereas despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been continuously overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. And whereas Cumberland County honors the women who have contributed to the shaping of Cumberland County and recognize that this on the 2025 Women's History Month theme, Moving Forward Together, Women Educating and Inspiring Generations. Now therefore, we, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Women's History Month in Cumberland County and call upon all citizens to mark this month with appropriate observation to the honor and the achievements of women adopted this 5th day of March 2025.
Thank you, Vice Chairwoman. Any commissioners want to have any comments?
I would.
Vice Chairwoman, you're recognized.
Yes, women have contributed a lot in this proclamation stands, and I just would like to say to all women listening out there in Cumberland County and those here, and to the women in Cumberland County on this staff, all of our managers, as well as Andrea Taffy, our deputy clerk, also Avia clerk. Every day we work together, stand by the men, and we just appreciate the fact that, again, like I stated, we have Sally, we have Faith, we have Heather, a lot of women serve in leadership for the county and in all different departments as well, and to include Dr. Green earlier. So just thank you for the service that you provide for your community, and that goes for, like I said, across the board, women in Cumberland County, as well as also for the city and others that work in Cumberland County to make our community a greater place, to include mothers and teachers. And this is also Social Work Month, so we definitely, with mental health, want to say happy Social Work Month to therapists and social workers as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chairwoman. We'll go ahead and move to item B.
You're welcome.
We'll go ahead and move to item B, approval of proclamation recognizing March 2025 as American Red Cross Month in Cumberland County. Calling County Manager Greer.
I'm going to turn this one over to Andrea Tibby, clerk to
Okay.
the board also.
A request was received for a proclamation recognizing March 2025 as American Red Cross Month, and we have Mr. Harris here to receive the proclamation once approved.
Commissioners, any questions or discussion on the proclamation? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
We've got a motion to approve that's been properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion for the proclamation for Red Cross Month? Hearing none, I'll ask for your vote. Raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Mr. Harris, ask you for you to come up front real quick while we read this proclamation. I'll go ahead and I'm going to ask Commissioner Patel to read it for us.
Good morning, Mr. Harris. So today, whereas this March we celebrate American Red Cross Month by recognizing the compassionate acts of people in Cumberland County and by renewing our commitment to lend a helping hand to our neighbors in need. Since Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross more than 140 years ago, generation after generation has stepped up to deliver relief and care across our country and around the world, bringing out the best humanity in times of crisis. And whereas, advancing this noble mission, the volunteers, blood donors, and supporters who now give back through the Sand Hills chapter are unwavering in their commitment to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of today's emergencies. And whereas their voluntary and generous contributions shine a beacon of hope in people's darkest hours, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospital patients, supporting service members, veterans, and their families, saving lives with first aid, CPR, AED, and other skills, or delivering aid in reconnecting loved ones separated by global crisis. And whereas this work to uplift our community is truly made possible by those who selflessly answer the call to help whenever and wherever it's needed. We hereby recognize this month of March in honor of their remarkable service, and we ask everyone to join in their commitment to care for one another. And now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims March 2025 as American Red Cross Month in Cumberland County and endorses all citizens to join in the observance and support its humanitarian mission.
Thank you, Commissioner Patel. Congratulations, Mr. Harris, and it's kind of timing today that you're coming to speak to us with everything going on.
Thanks for reminding everybody to be Red Cross ready. So.
I'll open it up to you for any
I want to
comments.
say thank you, a chance. I've got my board chair, Trina Tiffany, with me, but it's not about us. It's about our volunteers that are out in the community. So every president since FDR has proclaimed March as Red Cross Month. So we appreciate you doing that, and we appreciate your continued support. Just a couple updates. People see my red sweater, they go, "You're the blood guy." But our community needs that blood, and it's really the patients that need it. So we're also proud that we've done a sickle cell initiative because we know sickle cell patients need that. So we're out in the community having blood drives. So this month we'll be at Methodist and FTCC and Fayetteville State. So a lot of good work there. And then a lot of people know us for our service to armed forces, and you may not know we have 2 offices on Fort Bragg, so we're supporting military members and their family. We still teach CPR to this day. We're teaching hands-only CPR, so if people were to come upon an emergency, we want to give you the skills and confidence to go to that. And then a lot of people know us for disaster relief, and we did have Matthew and Florence, and we got ready for Debbie, so we just don't do that again. But our biggest disaster in Cumberland County is a single-family home fire. And 219 families experienced that last year. And we're able to give them food, clothes, shelter, put them in a hotel if necessary. We actually had 12 families yesterday in Cliffdale Road apartments that experienced that. And when sadly we've had several fatalities. We had a young child in Eastover and one in Hope Mills. And we know smoke alarms save lives, so we're partnering with fire departments to go out and install those alarms. And so we want to make our community safer and, as you said, be weather aware. And we want to skip our hurricane season this year. We have committed volunteers that do that. We have about 400 volunteers that answer that call, 2 in the morning, or as yesterday, 4 in the morning. So I want to just thank you for your continued support and appreciate your recognition this month.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Commissioners, any additional comments? Not? Thank you very much, Mr. Harris.
Great.
Thanks for what y'all do every day in our community, not only in our community, but across this state and where duty calls, so we appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
We'll go ahead and move forward to item C, consideration of 2025 FY26 federal legislative agenda. Call on County Manager Greer to introduce.
Yes, Sally Shutt, Assistant County Manager, will discuss this item and present the federal agenda, your federal agenda, and answer any questions that you may have.
Good morning, Ms. Shutt. Feel free to proceed.
Okay, good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. So today we are presenting you with the draft federal legislative agenda. Now, this is following your direction from the February agenda session that we condense the agenda, and it was sent out to you prior, seeking your feedback. So the agenda aligns with each of your strategic priorities, ties back to that, and those were, of course, set during your strategic planning session. So the top funding priorities are water and sewer infrastructure, protecting federal educational funding for our schools, and mental health funding for services to youth. And under the safe community priority, it's funding to assist the Sheriff's Office with technology and emergency services with a mobile incident command center. Under the priorities in policy, the top priority is ensuring that I-685 routes through Cumberland County. The other issues are, priorities are strengthening and modernizing the Women's, Infants, and Children's program through our Public Health Department to allow permanent virtual service options and online shopping, and then supporting our county Veteran Services offices, the Older Americans Act, Elder Justice Act initiatives, and assisting our local governments, the county, in complying with the DOJ 2026 mandate for ADA accessibility on all of our communications platforms. As Chairman Deviere mentioned, he's coming in from D.C. Well, Commissioner Patel was also in D.C. Assistant County Manager Faith Phillips and I were there for the National Association of Counties Conference, which ran March 1st through the 4th. And yesterday this group was spent visiting with our federal delegation up there. So we met with Congressman Rouser and Congressman Hudson, and then participated in a joint meeting that was hosted by the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners with Senators Tillis and Budd. During our meetings, Chairman Deviere updated the delegation members on achievements here within the county and on what the strategic priorities are of this board. Thank them for the support of the federal grants that we've received, and then reviewed the top priorities. Now, again, at your direction, they were shortened, and so shared with those. And then let them know that we are awaiting guidance from them on the process for the FY 2026 community project funding and congressional direct spending. And it is the county's intention that once we get that guidance, that we'll be seeking funding for some of our projects. We also, of course, welcome them to come, and we would plan to have visits for them and show them the great things happening here. So the agenda is there for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Shutt. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll just make a couple comments about our trip. First, I want to thank Ms. Shutt and Ms. Phillips for the work on putting it together. We were very fortunate. A lot of times counties and communities don't really get an opportunity to talk to the actual congressperson. They're talking to their staffs. We had the opportunity to meet with both. Great dialogue with both of our congressmen here for Cumberland County, as we have two additional conversations with the U.S. Senators, Senator Budd and Senator Tillis, really focusing on the issues that were around our community. Good feedback around water and infrastructure, some conversations around I-685 as well, which were all positive conversations. And then just really tried to gain some insights on what's happening at the federal level when it comes to some of the things that we're seeing on the federal level and the impacts it may have here locally. A constant theme throughout our conversations was around our military families, and our veterans, which really sets us apart as a community. But overall, great conversations. Yesterday on the Hill, I feel, was very productive because we were in front of the members that take the votes, that make the decisions, that represent all of us here in Cumberland County. And again, I just want to thank both of you for your hard work in setting it up. I know it's not easy, but we appreciate the opportunity to be in front of them and build those relationships further that we already have. So without any other comments or questions, I will move to entertain a motion to approve the federal legislation. I'll call on Vice Chairwoman Jones.
Yes, motion to approve the 2025 FY 2026 federal legislative agenda.
Is there a second? It's been a motion to approve the 2025 federal legislative agenda, properly seconded. Any further discussion on the item? Hearing none, I'll ask for your vote. Raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Ms. Shutt. We appreciate your work. We'll go ahead and move to item D, consideration of bid award for elevator modernization project at 109 Bradford Avenue.
Yes, Bradford building needs some modernization for the elevators. And we've had planning in this as part of our capital plan. Jermaine Walker, Director of Engineering and Infrastructure, will present this item and answer any questions you may have.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this project is for the modernization of a tracked elevator at the Bradford building, 109 Bradford. It'll be what we call phase one of two The way that the current setup is, we have the power entering the building from the transformer. There's an old Federal Pacific switchgear that's there. And so downstream from the Federal Pacific gear is another newer Square D switchgear, which powers the second elevator. And so what we want to do for phase one is replace the elevator that's coming off of the new gear, and then replace the switch gear at a later time, the old Federal Pacific gear. That was installed sometime in the late 70s, and those have been phased out across the entire country. And we've already phased out the Federal Pacific gear starting 2 years ago in this building. We just finished the LEC. We'll start the historic courthouse on March 28th, and then the Bradford building would be the last one that we phase out. And so we received 3 bids. Progressive was the highest at $565. Bar came in second at $520, and then, of course, the lowest responsible bid was H.M. Kern, which was at $517,000. And so what we're asking is that you approve this, and then that we're able to move forward with the phase one modernization.
Any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Tyson, you're recognized.
Thank you. The timeline that you're looking to have all the old switch gear phased out completely, can you go over that a little bit?
Well, unfortunately, at least right now, switchgear is about a year out. And we continue to monitor that. We'll have a better indication when we replace the next set of switchgear in the historic courthouse as we interface with that vendor. But right now, we're looking about a year out for switchgear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments, commissioners, questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Tyson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I recommend approval of H.M. Kern as the lowest responsible bidder for Phase 1 of the elevator modernization project at 109 Bradford Avenue.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to approve the bid as presented. It's been properly seconded. Any further discussion on the item? If not, I'll ask for your vote. Raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Thank you. I think you're staying up for the next one.
Yes, sir.
So I'll move to item E, consideration of bid award for Crown Coliseum restroom renovation project. County Manager Greer.
Jermaine Walker.
Thank you. Yes, sir. So this is to modernize, upgrade all of the public-facing restrooms. If you've been in the Coliseum lately, they definitely need some TLC. All of those restrooms are original to the building. So we're looking at somewhere around 30 years waiting for that modernization. So we're looking to do 13 full-scale restrooms, and then also we're looking to do touch another 31 restrooms with touchless fixtures, excuse me. And so with this, L&L Drywall was the lowest responsible bid at $835,363. They're also a local MWBE vendor, which we're pretty excited about. And this will also allow us to complete all of the restroom renovations and tie that in with all of the ADA improvements in the restrooms that we've been required to complete. And so asking you to approve this, L&L Drywall as the lowest responsible bid for the Crown Coliseum restroom renovation project.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions on the item? Commissioner Patel, you recognized.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Just to piggyback on the previous project.
Yes, sir.
To Mr. Tyson's question, what's the timeline, do you think, for this?
So we plan to start the restrooms in conjunction with the Crown Ballroom renovation project. That'll be the first set of restrooms. We'll start that in May. And then we intend to be finished all of the restrooms. We'll kind of have to work some of those in with the Crown's entertainment schedule, but our hopes is to finish that sometime within the next year.
Commissioners, any other questions? If not, I will entertain a motion. Commissioner Tyson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that we accept L&L Drywall as the lowest responsible bidder for the Crown Coliseum restroom renovation project with a bid of $835,363.
Yes, sir.
Second motion.
We got a motion to approve the award. It's been seconded. Any further discussion on the item? Hearing none, I'll ask for your vote. Raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and move to item 4, nominations. There's no nominations currently. Item 5 is appointments. There's no appointments for this meeting. We'll go ahead and move to item 6, which was requested, and I'll entertain a motion from Vice Chairwoman Jones.
Motion to go into closed session for attorney-client privilege pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A3.
Second.
Motion to go into closed session has been properly seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Thank you, and we're in closed session. And I would go ahead and entertain a motion to come out of closed session. Vice Chairwoman Jones?
Motion to come out of closed session.
There's been a motion to come out of closed session from attorney-client matter pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A3. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? If not, ask for your vote. Raise your right hand.
Unanimous?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for staying around. We appreciate it. I will go ahead now and entertain a motion from Vice Chairwoman Jones.
Yes, I make a motion that we suspend all work on the Crown Event project for no more than 30 days for the purpose of reviewing and also investigating the scope, schedule, and the financial budget for this particular project.
Second.
Been a motion by Vice Chairwoman Jones and properly seconded by Commissioner Tyson. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I would ask for your vote. Raise your right hand in the affirmative.
Unanimous?
Hearing no other business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Unanimous?
And this closes our meeting.
This, so I'm going to count us in for the sake of our team.
Well, good morning. Thank you for being here. To the press, thanks for being here. We're going to try to start doing this once a month at these meetings. So kind of call it a press gaggle, call it whatever you want. But it's an opportunity to get questions asked, for us to be transparent in the process, and for me to communicate directly to you as well as to the people that are live streaming that may be from our community. So we got a couple things we want to cover today. Specifically, the vote that you just heard as we came out of closed session. So let me just begin by saying we're announcing a 30-day pause on the Crown Event Center, and I want to talk to you a little bit about why we are doing it. First, make sure you understand the background of the Crown Event Center to set the framework around it. The Crown Event Center was designed as a venue that will host large events, conferences, entertainment, driving economic growth and providing space for our residents to gather and celebrate. If you recall, the original Crown Theater and Arena opened in 1967 and the ballroom in 1997. In 2022, the then Board of Commissioners hired MBP Carolinas as the owner's rep for the project and established a 3-member Crown Event Center committee. A project delivery team was also established, which comprised of key county staff and representatives from MBP Carolinas, the current Crown Complex Manager Oakview Group, or OVG, the project architect Ewing Cole, and construction manager at risk, CMR, T.A. Loving. On September 6, 2022, the Board of Commissioners, the then Board of Commissioners, approved guiding principles for the project following an engagement process that included members of the Community Engagement Committee across the community. On January 23rd of 2024, the Crown Event Committee approved a building program totaling 134,000 square feet and a total project budget of $145 million. The architect completed the design development package in April 2024, and on June 17, 2024, the Crown Event Center Committee authorized the project to move into the construction document development phase. On September 16, 2024, the Board of Commissioners, the then Board of Commissioners, approved a contract amendment with T.A. Lovin for site work and demolition to allow the project to move into the construction phase. As all of you know, because most of you were there, a groundbreaking for the Crown Event Center was held on October 25th, 2024. We fully understand that this is a significant investment for our community. With a project totaling over $145 million, it's vital that we ensure that every dollar that is spent is being efficiently and effectively for the benefit of our taxpayers. So why the pause? This board wants to ensure there's transparency, accountability, and ensure that this project is on track to deliver the best possible results for our community. That is of the utmost importance to this board. The 30-day pause will allow us to engage an independent third-party counsel to conduct a comprehensive review of the project's progress, evaluate all aspects of the current work, and address any concerns that may exist. We want to follow the best possible procedures for every phase of this work, and we want to ensure that it is properly reviewed. So who will lead this review? We've engaged a local attorney, Scott Flowers, from Hutchins Law Firm, a highly respected firm and local firm, to assist with this unbiased review of the project. Their role is very simple. Maybe not simple, but their role is to help assess where we stand, provide recommendations, and assure all aspects are aligned with our standards for transparency and accountability. So why is this important? The Cumberland County Board of Commissions, this Board of Commissions, takes our responsibility very seriously to protect the taxpayers' dollars. Public trust at this time, where we are in today's world, public trust is critical. We need to ensure that every project that we undertake is transparent, managed with integrity, and is for the greater good of all our citizens. Taking a pause, we feel, is a responsible action, ensuring that we're on the right track and reinforcing the county's commitment to maintaining the public trust. So what should you expect from this? So during this 30-day pause, we'll continue to remain in communication. I will do press conferences like this. We'll be on social media. We'll conduct press releases. Our communications department will ensure that we're keeping the community and keeping the public informed of any critical action along this 30 days. At the end of this review period, we will come back to you, probably in this format or something similar, and talk about what our next steps are. Talk about any findings and what the next steps are. We'll continue to look at those next steps, and we'll come back to you as a board and update you along the way with any results. I want to be very clear that there is a commitment that this board has to the public. We're committing to ensuring that every decision that we take, that we make on your behalf, and we don't take those decisions lightly, that they reflect the values of accountability and transparency. We will make sure that everyone stays informed during the process. And again, I want to appreciate the press being here today. Y'all are a key piece of helping us get this message out. And I want to encourage the residents that are listening or may read about this later to stay engaged, ask us questions, and remain patient as we complete this review. So as I close, I want to ensure that everyone understands that this 30-day pause is a responsible and a proactive step to ensure accountability and transparency. This board and I, as I've said before, are fully committed to maintaining the public trust of the residents of Cumberland County. Once this review is complete, you have my word that I will communicate the next steps on this project and how we will move forward. So with that, I'm going to talk about a couple other things, as I'm sure you'll have questions, but I want to open it up for a few questions, and I will have Ms. Rice assist as needed. So we'll go ahead and open it up.
Well, what were the key issues and concerns that triggered the need to have this third-party review to make sure that public trust and public dollars, taxpayer dollars, were really being protected in this process?
You know, for us, 3 new board members, you have a new board. We just came out of a strategic planning. We just came through strategic planning. We want to make sure that, again, that every tax dollar that is spent is being used efficiently and effectively for the benefit of the tax dollars. So this is to go through the scope of the project and ensure that everything is accountable and transparent through this process.
So like what information did you receive that might have been, something looks not done properly, maybe even a little shady, something like that come forward, you guys, and that's what's prompting this?
I think when you look at a $145 million project, Paul, that we want to ensure that we dot every I, we cross every T, and we have an outside counsel come in and look through every aspect of this project. We owe that to the taxpayers in this community. You're going to ask me if there's a smoking gun, you're going to ask me if there's something. What I'm telling you is that this board feels that we want to have an outside review of the scope of this project at this time.
Is that a yes or no, that something that's not quite right has come to you guys?
Paul, this is a $145 billion project, the largest project that this board has engaged with. It's one of the largest projects, it's one of the largest projects that this board has engaged on, $145 million of taxpayer dollars. We want to ensure that every part of this contract, every part of this project is properly done and it's efficient and all aspects are accountable. And we're getting the best use of taxpayer dollars.
Could this lead to the project being canceled or moved to another location?
Again, at the end of 30 days, when we come through this, or maybe sooner, as the board makes those kind of decisions, if we make those kind of decisions, I will come back before you in this forum and I'll address that. And I'll answer any questions on maybe why we did that or why we didn't do that.
Does it have anything to do with the lawsuit that led to the creation of the Crown Event Center due to the ADA problems at the old facilities?
Nothing to do with the lawsuit, the old ADA lawsuit. Yeah, I'm going to, let me, is there, you want to make sure we give some time to somebody else as well, Paul?
I mean, I was going to follow up to ask if there were issues or concerns over the timeline of this project and any, like, public feedback that also factored into this decision to have a third-party review.
You know, I think our board is very responsive to the community, and we are in the community. We're listening to both the concerns and the positive feedback from the citizens across Cumberland County. We're actively out in the community, not just sitting here in a boardroom, but actually out talking to citizens. I don't think it was per se, it's more about this board's commitment to accountability and transparency. We want to ensure that the $145 million that the taxpayers are going to pay for this project are properly used. That's it. That's it.
The law that funded the Crown Coliseum, is there concern that it is not going to be allowed to be used to fund this project?
That is not a factor in our decision to pause for a 30-day relook of this project. And I'm very familiar with that, but that is not it's not a variable at this time. Other questions?
Well, you were planning to open in September of 2027, I think. Is this the opening date?
I think you can answer that for yourself, Paul. I mean, any delays, I think when we come back and update you on any of the, what's happening with the review of this project, we'll update you on any timelines as well.
And where's the $33 million parking that they're supposed to open in about a year? Is that going to happen? Is it a part of the situation?
Well, as you know, the two are interconnected because we've taken down a parking area to put a Crown Event Center, so you have to have parking for the Crown. So I think logically you have to think the two are connected.
I mean, I haven't looked, but I don't think I've seen any construction going on in the back where you're going to put this parking deck and it's supposed to open.
There's a time, Paul, there's a timeline for the parking deck as well. And so, well, you have to have a Crown Event Center before you have a parking deck. And so there was a timeline for the parking deck. What we're focused on right now is the Crown Event Center, the timeline for the Crown Event Center, and going through this 30-day review. Then if we need to adjust anything on a parking deck or other projects, we'll have those conversations as well.
So people are very upset right now about their property tax revaluations going so high.
Is this your pivot?
This is actually connected. And so people are questioning all kinds of county spending. Is that a variable in your decision to pause?
No, I think those are two distinct items. Property reevaluation is a by statute, by law, every 8 years. I think what you're seeing is you got a new board that came out of strategic planning, on board less than 75 days. We're very focused on ensuring that we deliver the services to this community in the most efficient and cost-effective way to our taxpayers. I think that's what you're seeing. The tax reevaluation is a timing that happens every 8 years that leads up to the budget cycle where we'll set a tax rate and adjust from there.
So the city's having lots of difficulties with its contractors and people it's done business with for the parking deck and the Prince Charles project. You all have concerns with your contractor?
I can't speak to what the legal issues that the city has. I can just tell you that we are taking a 30-day pause to have outside counsel come in and review the scopes of the contracts, the process, where we are, and ensuring that we have transparency and accountability in this project. Anything else? No other questions? I'll move away from the Crown event. If there's any other questions that you'd like to ask at this time.
Some of the people who are opposed to the waste energy project that's originally supposed to go on Full Spring Street told me they're contacting the county commissioner, and I don't know if you've heard from them. Does the county commissioner have any position on this project or kind of help it, or?
We haven't taken any position on the project. This project didn't have any tax incentives, so this was located here by an entrepreneur or by a corporation, by a company that sought out Cumberland County and Fayetteville as a location. So we're entertaining those questions and trying to be responsive to our constituents about any questions they have as we're getting information from the company on it.
And does the county have any concerns with this, especially after all the Gen X and PFAS situation, that this company may bring some pollutants that we don't want our community?
I think this board is always conscious about our environment and the impact that any company has on our environment in our community, especially when it comes to water and the natural resources we have across our community. So we're always going to have those concerns.
The property reevaluation subject, again, has been a big kind of concern as you and other county officials have made clear. The tax rate has not been set yet, it's still to come. So we still don't really know exactly what tax those people are going to be paying. But there still is a lot of anxiety among homeowners, property owners, about how much they will be paying in taxes. And there could be a large turnout of people coming out to appeal those valuations. Can you talk more about the bandwidth that the county has to support people in that process? You did open a new phone line to address that. So, what could happen here, if there's an overwhelm of people coming out for supporting this?
First of all, it's a property owner's right to appeal that process. And if they feel like they should, then we're going to ensure, and Mr. Utley's here, our tax administrator is here with us today, but we're going to ensure that we have the resources to make sure that we properly respond to our residents if they have questions. That's why we've established a call center. That's why we provided the information online. That's why we have additional staff upstairs to provide any answers and create a conduit into the office or to ask them to be there to answer some initial questions. But we're committed to ensuring that if somebody has a question, they get it answered and the resources are there to do it. I know there's a lot of confusion. Tax value or property value versus tax rate. I would just encourage the residents that if they have questions, they call the tax administration office. They're there to, or come down to the courthouse and do it in person for whatever reason you may have. And then continue to talk with your Board of Commissioners as we go through this budget process to determine what that tax rate will be, and that ultimately will be the tax bill that the residents get in August.
So some of the residents in the Grace Creek area, for example, Mr. Waters, have gotten their property values reduced due to the contamination on their properties. And when the revals were done, did that take into account the contamination, or do they does everyone have to come back and get it lowered again?
Again, I would encourage that if you have a question around your property valuation, that you come see our tax administration office. It's done off of market values. It's done off of comps. There's a procedure that's been explained, and it's explained on our FAQs on our website on how those property values were set.
And did that procedure take into account PFAS contamination?
So again, it's done by market rates and current comparable comps.
So it might not have been.
It was done off of market rates. It may be a better question for the real estate market. They can speak to market values. So remember, this tax reevaluation is to level out to market values. So your question around what plays into those market values and comparables is probably, I'm not a subject matter expert on it, probably a good question for the Longleaf Pine Realtors or someone like that to kind of talk about market rates.
Maybe, Mr. Ellicott, does the county's records, did lower the value due to a serious problem with a piece of property, so when we revalue it later, we need to take that into account. I mean, it might or might not, I don't know.
Mr. Utley, it's a little technical question. I think the general question, again, it gets back to that market rate is set. There's comparables to houses in these areas that have sold. Therefore, you have market value and you have comparables. Again, I will stress that if a person believes or feels that their valuation is not accurate, they need to come down and see Mr. Utley at the Tax Administration Office, bring their documentation. There's a window where it's not as formal, it's less formal. So bring your documentations down, bring your information, contact the Tax Administration Office, and work through those issues. That's what this process is for.
Do you get an estimate of how many people have already decided to review?
I do not.
The last time I checked earlier this week, it was a little under 1,000 people.
And how many, do you have an estimate for how many you'll get this year?
I have no idea. I had shared previously in '09 when values went up quite a bit. We had about 15,000 appeals. So right now we're about that.
So, Paul, we want to encourage people that if they want to make an appeal, that informal appeal period ends on March 24th. And then after that, there's a formal appeal process. But again, if you have a question about your valuation, please contact our tax office. They are there to answer your questions.
Another topic, you don't have any indication with all the cost cutting, the DOGE program in Washington, where you might, some grants will be frozen, some grants will be canceled, other funding may be affected, maybe you have employees who are funded by federal dollars, and now you might have some concerns that you're not going to be able to retain them. What's going on with that?
Great question, Paul. We were actually in D.C. yesterday. Commissioner Patel and I, along with a couple members from staff, were, as part of a conference, visiting our members. We met with both congressional members, both Congressman Hudson and Rouser, as well as Senator Tillis and Senator Budd, and asked some of those questions around that. Right now, we're not seeing an impact, but as we learned yesterday, everything is still very fluid. And so our staff is staying very diligent as far as which grants have, already been awarded and they've already been funded, as well as positions as well, grant-funded positions. But there's a bigger piece to this, and that was a conversation that we talked about yesterday, is what's the overall potential impact on us as a county and us as a region potentially. When you look at Fort Bragg, when you look at civilian workers, DOD workers, as well as other federal workers in this, in this community, what's that impact? There's really not a crystal ball right now, unfortunately, even with the lawmakers that are right there in the middle of it. And so, their commitment to us is as they learn things, they will ensure that they connect to our staff and let them know whether it's grant related or it's personnel related. And so it's a constant commitment to communicating between the two parties.
Did you get any indication from them? I mean, we got the system of checks and balances. Congress is an equal partner with the president in running the country. Are they going to say, the administration says, well, you're going to cut this, and you tell your congressman, no, we need to keep this. Are they going to stand up for us?
I think that's a question. I'm not in Congress, Paul. I think that's a question for Congressman Hudson and Congressman Rouser. I think they're very committed. What we heard yesterday is they're very committed to the citizens in their districts, and they're very committed to Cumberland County and the people that live here, including the veterans and military families.
We'll circle back on another topic on the parking.
Does anybody else have anything else, or we just, there we go.
So you mentioned at the PWC meeting last week before that you guys were looking at doing the property evaluation every 4 years instead of every 8. Where are you at with that? Is that a decision that we're going to find out in June when you do the tax evaluation? Where are you at?
So our county manager will review what that is. He's going to provide that information back to us, and the board will take action. It's not an action we need to take immediately. Of course, we're just going to look at the feedback and look at the benefits to doing it every 4 years versus 8 years to try to get some leveling out. Other communities, you're seeing a lot of other counties across the North Carolina begin to do that. So we wanted our manager so the board directed our manager to investigate that and bring back his recommendations along with our tax administrator's recommendation. You're not in the press, but I'll get to you, though. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, if you do build a parking deck, would you be charging for parking?
I think that's based on the model that we have in the parking deck, and we haven't stood up a parking deck committee. We don't have, we're on the very close side of we're on the very near side of the parking deck discussions right now. I think right now we're going to take this 30-day pause, and we're going to review this project and ensure that accountability and transparency are part of this project. Anything else from the press? And of course, I have to open it up to the community for Mr. Waters.
Tax valuation, they use comparable market values map. It did not take into account, I looked at all 8 that I was compared to, and it did not take into contamination on the properties. Now, not everybody in this county is going to be as lucky as I am and have the extensive testing of soil, air. I just had the EPA for the last 6 weeks doing air monitoring on our property, which is not well known across this county. I'm going to use the Cumberland County against Kenmore's lawsuit as one of the artifacts, because in there they state there's diminished value. That's one of your claims, diminished values of the property. I have, the air monitoring, the soil and that. Not everybody will have that. Can those artifacts be used for people that live close to, in close proximity? Because at 2 feet, my soil is 2,554 parts per trillion PFAS contamination. I can't grow it. I can't even cut my grass section. My grass is contaminated. One of the tests we did was a burn of pine needles to see that going past the research fan. They have not got back what chemicals they saw, but they were extremely high level, high enough that they had to reset the calibration on the system twice. So, a lot, you had 1,000, you're going to get, over the next 3 weekends, I'm helping the people build their packets and for the informal process. And one of the things, there's going to be, Sean Gannon is the disposition from Kenmore's DuPont saying they knew from 1984 on that they were contaminating us through air. It's that big. There's one from Owen Duckworth. He's the one who tested all the vegetables within our area, and then your lawsuit. If everybody includes that in their packet, you're going to have 3,000 packets at least this big. It doesn't make sense that you put those 3 things as an artifact with the county commission, and they can refer to those instead of you guys having to go through thousands of packets. That's something that I'm about to go upstairs.
And Mr. Waters,
I'm trying to help you.
No,
Getting overwhelmed with paperwork, but it's.
And first and foremost, Mr. Waters, I appreciate your knowledge on this issue and your commitment to helping people across the community understand this issue in very basic terms. I would encourage you to connect with the tax assessor when you go upstairs.
Since 2018,
Yep,
I did do
yep.
an assessment, 15% reduction on one of my lots, 27%
Yep.
on my house. That was disregarded on the new evaluation, and I went up 117% in value.
So again, that's why we're encouraging people. It would be good for you to connect. We may even look at, depending on the size, we have a public engagement, a community engagement campaign around the reval. Maybe opportunities where we're moving around to different municipalities at their meetings and we're briefing as another way to educate the community on the reval. As we look to see community meetings, there may be opportunities that we extend that out to community meetings, and I'll leave that to Ms. Rice and
Like
Mr.
I
Utley.
said, I love you guys. The 4 years, that makes a lot wiser decision than 8 years, because then it's not noticed to see the astronomical jump.
Thank you for.
I hate, I'm going to be leaving Cumberland County.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. I always appreciate you. Ms. Rice?
Thank you so much. You're welcome to stay afterward and ask additional questions. We're here to talk if you'd like to, but that's it for our press conference. Thanks for coming.